Hello and welcome to part 65. In this video, we will learn about optional parameters. Basically, there are four ways to create optional parameters of a method. First one is using a parameter array. Second one is by using method overloading. Third one is by specifying parameter defaults. And the fourth one is by using an optional attribute. So now let's understand how we can make parameter optional by using parameter array. Now consider a scenario. We have a method that returns an integer and the name of the method is add. Currently, it will take two parameters, integer a and integer b, and it will do nothing but just return the sum of it. Now the requirement is we want to make a method such that this method can take any number of integers. Even if the user is trying to pass 50 integers or 100 integers, this method should be able to support that. Basically, what we want to do, we want to make the third parameter as optional, because for adding two numbers, only two numbers are required. Other numbers are not mandatory. User can pass them or user can choose not to pass them. So to create such an optional parameter, we can use the params keyword. And we can specify the array type. If you see here, if I invoke add method by passing some number 5 and 7 and try to store this result in a result variable like this and print the result, you will notice even though we have this third parameter, but compiler is not giving any compilation error because this parameter is optional. If I run this program will run without any issues and we will get the correct result. Okay, but if user decides to pass the values in this parameter, they can do so. They can pass it like this. So they can specify the parameter like this. So the first two parameters will be mapped to integer a and integer b, and after that whatever parameters we are passing, those all parameters will be mapped to integers array, right? If I put a breakpoint here at line number 18 and run this program, you will notice the numbers parameter has four values: 50, 32, 10 and 41. These are the values which we have passed while invoking the add method, right? Okay, so now let's complete this demo and return the proper result. Okay, so I'm using a for each loop and I am iterating through all the numbers which are passed in numbers array, and I'm adding that in the sum variable, and after that I'm returning it. So if I run my program, you will notice we will get the proper result. We will get the sum of all these numbers which are passed to the add method. So this is the first way to create optional parameters using the params keyword or using the parameters array. Now let's see the second method, that is method overloading. Let's suppose you have a method, and if we invoke this method by calling it in our main method, actually we have to make our method as static so that we can invoke it without creating the object of demo class. Okay, and if I run my program, it will print the name hello world as expected. But now let's say we have one more parameter, that is middle name, and we want to make middle name as optional because every person will not have a middle name. To support these kind of scenarios, we can also use method overloading. So what I can do, I can create the same exact method with the same name, but this time I can pass a third parameter, that is string middle name. Okay, and I can pass the middle name in the print method also, like this. Okay, so now if you notice, we are not getting any compilation error here because when we are passing two arguments, that time it will invoke this particular method, and similarly I can call print name method by passing three parameters. You can see I am passing three parameters to print name method, and we are not getting any compilation error because this method will link to this particular method, which is expecting three parameters. If I run my program, you will notice we are getting the proper result. So guys, this is how you can create optional parameters using method overloading. Because when we are invoking print name method at line number 11, here the middle name parameter is kind of optional. We don't have to pass that method in order to print the name. Now let's see the third method, that is specifying parameter defaults. And this is the most common way to create optional parameter. Now let's understand how this will work. Let's say we have a method. Let's again create the print name method. And in this case, the requirement of the application is we want to make the last name as optional. Meaning, if someone is not passing the last name, that time also the print name method should work. And if the last name is not coming from the user, we should set it to some default value. So the default value that we want to set is unknown. So what we can do here, we can specify the default value when declaring the method itself, right? Now, if I invoke my print name method, and if I just pass the first name, Peter, and in my print name method, let's print the name using console.writeLine. So I am passing only the first name, that is Peter, and you will notice we are not getting any compilation error because now the second name or the last name is optional, and if user is not passing the last name, we will pass a default value to it, that is unknown. So if I run my program, you will notice Peter unknown is getting printed because for the last name we have specified the default value unknown. That's why we have printed unknown as the last name. But if user decides to pass the second name also, then the name that is passed by the user will take the priority and we will override the default value, and whatever value is passed by the user, that will get printed. If I run my program, you will notice Peter Parker is getting printed because this time we have overridden the default values. Okay guys, this was the third way to create optional parameter, and this is the most popular way to create optional parameter. And that's it for this video guys. In the next video, we will understand how we can make our parameter optional by using an optional attribute.